Alan Joyce said that to forget about the win, to get in, to do what you did in the second quarter, go in hard, get control of the ball, keep it in the forward line. He said you've worked all year for this last 30 minutes of glory.
Yes, and Mickey Mulder said it will take an enormous effort in this last quarter for the Eagles to get up. He realised it's a big task against this breeze, but he said you are good enough to do it, and make sure that Peter Matura lifts on that wing. Also, Jakovic has got his chance at centre half forward.
So Pritchard with the first kick. Deer again, who's been superb all day, goes for goal, and touched by Dunstall, doesn't quite get there for a behind. Irving and Waters, the two players on the interchange for West Coast. Didn't pick the Hawks up, but I'd fancy it'd be Anderson and Collins. Any changes, Don? Have you noticed anything? Have a look.
Just that Jakovic has gone to centre half forward.
Brennan's kick. Lawrence from the side. Pritchard able to keep McIntosh down. Hawthorn leading by 11 points in the grand final. Lawrence has kicked the full forward. Deer goes in, and Brereton in the front spot.
Well, there were three Hawthorn players in the vicinity when that ball was dropping. Worsfold was outnumbered, and that is not a good sign. There's Deer flying, but look at Worsfold. Patton there as well.
He's kicked 2 goals since half-time, Brereton. 2 goals into the breeze in the third quarter. Premierships in 83, 86, 88, 89. One of the most celebrated careers as a team player in the history of the game. And from point-blank range, should not miss, and puts it through for number 3. So the Hawks start well. They get the buffer. They get the break. And now it's up to the West Coast at 94 to 77.
Well, since quarter time, they've just played catch-up football, the West Coast. They allowed Hawthorn to come back in the latter part of the first quarter. That was critical. And Brereton, very inaccurate early. He's kicked 4 points. The high ball from Lawrence allowed him to kick his 3rd goal. He's got 3 goals for Brereton. And it's a great effort because he is under a cloud. He's got a knee injury. He's played with one just about all year, so it's testament to his courage.
So the margin is 17 points. Back in the middle. Lockyer collides with Lawrence. Condon, who's done so well on the centre square, trying to force his way through. Kemp, and then Lawrence knocking it out wide, taken by Anderson. A high floating kick towards half forward. Oh, Collins, superb mark. Magnificent performance. Collins chips it intended for Allen, closing on him. Pike runs free behind. It's taken by Pritchard. This for a premiership, perhaps. It's home. No, right on the line. It's been marked by Brereton. Well, the Avalanche is gaining momentum now, and Brereton at point-blank range has a chance to perhaps end the resistance once and for all. Brereton relishing the situation. Kicks. It's a goal. What a mark by Collins to start that chain reaction. 14-16, 12-5, and perhaps it's the end of a dream now for the West Coast Eagles.
Well, the margin now, 23 points. Hudson, you could see, wrestling. There's Pritchard. Brereton, I suppose, could have let that ball go through. Getting away from Worsfold. They just can't match the forwards, West Coast. They've got enough players.
100 to 77. Hawthorn, the only team this year to kick 100 points against West Coast. They did that in the first of the finals matches, and they've done it again today. Worsfold just 6 possessions. Jarman on the interchange. Looking for a free kick, Mainwaring. West Coast need 3 goals in a hurry. Heady goes to ground. Mew goes to ground. Hawthorn get it. Lawrence gets it to Gowers. Gowers goes to half forward. Deer, who's been a colossus today, to Condon. Condon towards the goal square. Hudson at centre half forward. Well, it's all happening, and it's happening for one team. It's Hawthorn.
Already kicked one, Paul Hudson.
.45 metres out, directly in front. Bread and butter shot. Drop punt. Goal. shut the gate? Well, just about. 2 to Hudson, 15-16 to 12-5. And in the space of 5 minutes, Hawthorn has kicked 3 goals.
Lamb coming off the ground, Irving coming on for the West Coast, and Hudson, one of the most improved players in the league. He's really come from nowhere this year. 60 goals, 47 behinds before today. Terrific effort. Irving going down in the forward pocket for West Coast.
Jakovic on Deer, so Malthouse making changes left, right and centre. Allen out of the centre. One-way traffic for the moment. Collins, who's waited all day to get a touch, and took a big mark a minute ago to set up the BREREION goal. Worsfold. Has he been moved from BREREION? Yes, he has. McIntosh back there. Throw in at centre wing.
There's the skipper. Boundary throw in. Deer with the left hand. Almost a throw from Collins, taken by Kemp. Forward of his own half-back line. Enormous pressure. Collins scrambles a kick forward. Allen held a long time in the tackle. Down goes Platten. Kemp going nowhere. Allen on all fours and a whistle eventually. Final lunge there by Kemp. Alan Joyce. Looking at 2 out of 2. There's the bounce. Deer. Collins put his body in. Pritchard goes off the ground. It comes back to him. Hurried kick. Over his left shoulder. Anderson keeps it in. Just inside the 50. Pulls it back towards the kick-off line. Brereton in front. And through it goes for a minor score.
Margin up to 5 goals. The biggest so far today. Well, they've celebrated through the 80s with their 4 premierships and 3 in the 70s. They haven't had long to wait in the 90s by the look of it. Hawthorn. Brennan. Jakovic the target. Spoil from the back. Waring, who had a spectacular 3rd quarter. Jenke beats Hetty for that one. Jenke bangs it back towards the pocket. McKenna against the flow. Has been West Coast best player. Good kick to Matera. No one to kick it to, though. Just Hawks in front of him for the moment. Has to wait and stop. Then with pinpoint accuracy, gains only 20 metres to Waterman. What can West Coast conjure from here? Waterman to centre wing. Pike outnumbered. Allen. Hawthorn working hard. Off the ground by Kemp. Hetty runs it out with Lawrence for a throw in at centre wing. Hetty with his 4. There's Dwayne Lamb. Scott Waters alongside of him. They've both had insignificant afternoons. Look at that. 16 to 4.
Lawrence behind Kemp. Now Pike on the wing. Gained about 30 metres or so. Knocked on by Lewis. Crashing in there was Ayres, and he gets it across the boundary line. He started superbly this afternoon, Gary Ayres. It's been a fine defence. They're getting ready to party, you sense, those Hawthorn supporters. There's the boundary throw in. Hart towards centre half forward. Sumich puts his body in front. Ayres superbly done once more. Gowers to Platten. Towards half forward goes the kick. Knocked away by Lockyer. The man they've been unable to stop over the ball. Deer tries to slap it out to accommodate Collins. Down goes Waterman. He's getting a free kick. Waterman in his own half-back line. 15-17 to 12-5. The Hawks have slipped away now. Waterman from half-back towards the wing. Hetty in front. Jenke over the top. Ayres again. Eyes only for the football. Down he goes. They wrestle after it. Coming through Jakovic. And he pushes the ball across the boundary line.
There's just no run at all from West Coast. When that ball came out of defence, they were looking for something. But there's nothing, just statues in front.
Well, they kicked the first 4 goals of the game, West Coast. They trail 15 to 12. And a lot more points than that. Lawrence. Pritchard caught. Good tackle by Worsfold, but it'll be a bounce down at centre wing.
Irving's going to be moved. Sumich is going back to full forward. Irving may come out to centre half forward.
So Michael Malthouse ringing the changes, hoping for a miracle. Tuck. Turley. Free kick to Hawthorn.
Against Lewis on Tuck. These Hawthorn players just prepared to put their body between their opponent and the ball.
Old father time, Tuck, 38 years of age. Brereton at the back of Hudson. Lockyer.
Oh.
Poor performance. Deere again gives his chances up forward to Pritchard. Well, Deere's just killed them, hasn't he? He's been fantastic.
Just wonder why Matera has been left on Pritchard.
Pritchard's had 16 and 3, Matera 11 and 3. But again, it was Deere's strength on it to set it up. A mistake by Lockyer. And Pritchard, well, he really should kick it. He's only 30 metres out. 50-degree angle. And any chance West Coast might have, or has, should go with this kick. It does. Second for Pritchard. And Hawthorn charge away now at 16-17 to 12-5.
The second goal, Darren Pritchard, recruited from Sandy Bay. He was picked up number 26 in the 1986 draft. They've made a change, another one, the West Coast. Worsfold off, and Waters on.
Worsfold
off.
Yeah, off the ground. Waters back on. 16-17, 12-5. And Pike with a free kick.
And Platten was getting treatment by the trainers just as that goal was being kicked.
Pike kicking towards half forward. Matera knocking on. Turley inside the 50. Vacant goal square. How will it bounce? The wrong way for the West Coast Eagles. Too little, too late. 12-5, 16-17 inside the last 17 minutes of the season. Carl Langdon, helpless, just watching on. Langford, meantime, boots in. Wide towards left half back. Valiant work by Mainwaring. Gets it out of bounds. So a throw in.
Tried hard, hasn't he, Chris Mainwaring, especially in that third quarter.
The ball at right half forward. The team that's trailing. Mew. Wide of the pack. Waters. Running away from his own goal initially. Across his body. Morrissey. Play on's the call. Morrissey almost the mark. Slow to get up. Guy McKenna. And another throw in. Mainwaring likewise. Very slow to his feet. Mew. Brilliantly done down to Anderson. And the Hawks are lasting better than the youngsters. On the wing, clash of bodies. Condon, a valuable player, goes off the ground down towards left half forward. Brereton, look at the spring in his step as he approaches the ball. He's thinking premiership now. Knocked away that time by McIntosh. Hart emerges with the ball. Matera loose on the wing, can take it and go. Well shepherded by McKenna. He boots down towards right half forward. Wilson under the ball. Heady behind. He'll take a good kick from here. He measures the pass. Too much carry, though, intended for Sumich.
It wasn't Sumich interfered with. He's injured now, too.
Langford comes away, clears the zone, back to the wing. McKenna knocking away from Lawrence. Lawrence does very well. Tries to get it to Gowers. It's out of bounds. Sumich seems to be okay. He's hurt but on his feet. And Langford is still on the ground.
And here it is. Now, this is where the infringement should be to Sumich. See how he's pulled the ground by Langford. And Langford also hurt himself in that exchange of bodies. Another angle.
Oh, I don't think it's a kick.
Hart and Lewis, centre wing. Well, the heady kick wasn't very good anyway to Sumich.
Langford is in the hand of the trainers now. Physiotherapist Barry Gavin out there. John Kilpatrick, trainer.
And Mew's gone back for Sumich, just to plug the hole. Irving clearly to Turley. Turley from 50 metres with a short one. A good kick that time to Jakovic, who takes the mark. 16-17, 12-6. One of two 18-year-olds on the ground today in the final, the other McIntosh. Both important players in West Coast running the finals. Just a little overwhelmed today. Jakovic from 40 metres out, hooked it across his body and misses very badly for a behind. 12-7, 16-17. The captain looks on. Chris Mew. With a bounce. Platten his target, Hart with him. Hart wins this time. Ayres, who started magnificently, to Brereton. Well, some luck there, but Ayres and Brereton two of the superstars of this Hawthorn team.
Long probing kick once more behind Hudson. Appear to be taken high. Gives it to Dunstall. 15 metres out. Dunstall kicks another one. 17-17 to 12-5, and the Hawk is flowing.
Well, that's his third goal, Jason Dunstall. Maybe Paul Hudson should have been given the free kick for around the neck, but he was quick enough, had enough composure to get it across. Watch this, here's the scrimmage. Hudson there, could have been a free kick, but quickly gets it across to Dunstall, and he goes in and puts through Hawthorn 17.
So the break is too large now, and that man knows it. John Kennedy and Alan Jeans both coached Hawthorn to 3 premierships. Kennedy in 14 seasons, Jeans in 9. And what about Alan Joyce? 2 from 2 as Condon goes towards half forward. Free running ball. Collins comes to meet it now, 60 metres out from goal. Dunstall has the drop. He goes back in front. Brennan's fallen over. Dunstall deep in the pocket. Measures the options. Pulls it back. It's a goal. Oh, what a classic. 18-17 to 12-7. And that, my friends, is the icing on the cake.
Well, his 4th goal, Jason Dunstall. Since his injury this year, he really hasn't kicked the bag full, but this is a great snapshot. Watch this. Here he is battling with Brennan. Deep in the pocket, over the left shoulder. A great effort. Let's hope he's fit next year because he is capable of kicking bags.
6 goals to Hawthorn in the last quarter. Ayres. Well, it's a celebration now. Gowers. Dunstall goes. Waters.
Lamb about to come on for West Coast.
Matera gets a bad bounce. Pritchard. Hudson. Matera over the top of Hudson. Play on call. Hawthorn charging away to their 9th premiership. All since 61, and 8 of them now since 71. They were the most successful club in the 80s, and equal with Carlton in the 70s. Deer, Platten off the ground. McIntosh, quick kick. Jenke, like a racehorse, takes off, charges towards goal, kicks it long, hits the post. Don, they're really enjoying it now. The pressure's off. It's been released, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, they're just doing as they want, aren't they? It's just a matter of time. What is going off for West Coast? Lamb about to come on. He's gone on and off the bench today, Scott Waters. So has Dwayne Lamb for that fact.
Lockers kick the centre wing. Turley up early. Missed by Matera. Taken by Deer. The handball misses the body. One of the very few mistakes he's made. McKenna to Mainwaring. A bounce. And a second one. And now Matera mops up.
This is Pike alongside the centre circle towards centre half forward and Sumich. Langford gets a fist on it. Ayres again. Impenetrable. He goes towards the outer side. Gowers takes the mark out there. Andrew Gowers winning a place late in the season. And now part of the premiership side. Centres it to Mew. He's been along this road a few times before. Chris Mew. Long kick. Platten over the top, waiting behind Dunstall, and he's taken the mark. It was untouched. Big leap from Platten. Didn't reach the ball. And now Dunstall will kick from about 45 metres out.
What's this in replay? Platten flies. Did he interfere with the West Coast player? I think so.
Dunstall kicking at his 5th. Looks good. Another one. 5 goals to Jason Dunstall. Smiles all round. And that's correct. 1991 is the year of the Hawk.
Well, he's kicked 5 goals 4 times this year. Here he is. He kicked 9 in round 5 against Footscray. And also 9 against Sydney Swans in round 2. That was before his injury.
132 to 79. The Hawks was 7 goals in the last quarter. Geelong holds the record with 8 goals, 5 in the last quarter of a grand final. That is under threat now. There's not much else under threat except the scoreboard, with Hawthorn attacking. Lamb to Pike. Wide to Wilson at centre wing. Short left footer, not going very far. Lawrence able to cut it off in front of Worsfold.
He's come into the game since half-time.
Big opening in the third quarter. Impressive statistics from the knock ruckman, 15 kicks. Waits his time, looks for Paul Deere, who's been a giant today. Anderson back to Deere. Round his body with a high one. Hudson's there with Collins. Gee, no competition. Hudson caught, brought to ground by Irving. Waterman's quick kick to Matera. An element of luck there as Irving and also Hudson behind play, and Platt. Matera's kick not very good, but falls into the arms of Heady. Sumic provides a lead. So does Worsfold. Kicks it to Worsfold at half forward.
Scott Waters about to come on again.
Well, how could you be settled playing a game like that? Heady to Sumic, good kick, should mark. Misses. Langford mops up. Symbolic of what's happened in this game. To Anderson. To Brereton. Exhibition here. Sells a dummy. The kid with a left footer. Condon.
Wilson coming off for West Coast, and Waters will go to the half-forward flank. Ayres picking him up.
Anthony Condon. Torpedo punt. Kicked it a long way from behind. So 1-2 for Condon. And Hawthorn with all the answers. 133 to 79.
Becoming very clinical now as Lockyer kicks in towards the outer side. It pitches in front of Gowers and runs out of bounds. So the margin 54 points. Hawthorn's biggest winning margin in a grand final, 96 points in 1988. Their smallest, 7 points in 1971. Hawthorn so good out of the centre square this afternoon. Boundary throw in. Celebrations well and truly on in the outer now. Kemp comes away from half back towards the wing. Lawrence touches it and it goes out of bounds. Alan Joyce. The pressure's gone, well, almost. Final minutes of the season. 7 remain in this game. Lawrence wins it down. Gowers to Allen. It goes off the ground. Down towards the attacking 50. Quick hands from Platten. Sends Condon into space. Hard against the boundary line. Kicks to the pocket. McIntosh and Brereton. It's taken away by McKenna, who's played so well. This is Kemp. Untidy looking kick, but effective. And Hart's got it.
Into the centre square. Heady and Jenke. Jenke thumps it away. Lawrence. Oh, gee, with the elbow.
Oh, excuse me. Well, at least the umpires are consistent. He was reported on that occasion.
To be honest, Don, it wasn't so much malicious, but just...
well, I was there. It was similar to the one that got Hinckley reported the other week.
Oh, sure. I mean, he's elbowed him in the face. But
at least they're consistent, the umpires.
Matera with a free kick. Lawrence with his number taken.
It's amazing he used to be able to do those years ago, Dennis, and get away with it.
I'll take your word for it, Don.
Matera's kick. Lawrence thumps it away. Worsfold sits and waits. And then untidily out towards Waterman and puts him under pressure. Able to break the Ayres tackle. Bangs it down to Langford and Sumic. Sumic gets rid of Langford cleverly.
Just pushed him under the ball at the critical moment, Peter Sumic.
A la Paul Deere. He's done that so often today. Sumic, who started in a blaze of glory with those 2 goals early on after 50-metre penalties against Langford. Had 4 goals early in the match. And lining up for a 5th from 45 metres out, straight in front, into the breeze. Drop punt. And looks to kick the goal, and has. 5 goals for Sumic, so he's done his job. He and Heady have got 9 between them, but West Coast just with 13. 13-7 to 19-19.
They're very predictable, aren't they, in their forward line setup? They haven't got too many variations. It's either Heady, and he's come to the fore, or it's Sumic, and he's also done well. They're just kicking his 5th goal. Tried hard all day, Peter Sumic.
19-19 to 13-7. Irving gets it down. This is Pike towards half forward. Good-looking kick. They'll contest about 30 metres out. Morrissey knocks it away. Ayres cleverly. Langford claimed by Sumic. It comes back to Ayres. Gets it out wide. Gowers and Mainwaring. Gowers pushes it across the boundary line. That's been an interesting duel. Gowers 23 possessions. Mainwaring 19 possessions.
Incidentally, that was Peter Sumic's 111th goal for the season. His first year he kicked 45 goals. That was in 1989. Last year 90, and now 111. Good effort.
McKenna again to Worsfold, back on the ground. Kicks inside the attacking 50. Sumic left it behind. Langford, down he goes. Allen, Pritchard is battling in there too. There'll be a ball up. So a bounce about 50 metres out from the Eagles' attacking goal. Pritchard up very slowly. He's taken the honours from Peter Matera this afternoon. Sumic intended for Heady, but wide of the mark. Gowers to Allen, who scrambles it out wide where Waters leads in the race.
Collins with him. Waters in the pocket. Goes back to Lamb. Round his body. Tuck. Bangs it back. It's going to break all the records today, Tucky. To Brereton. To Mew. Some of the most famous names in this famous club. To Dunstall.
See, the advantage of playing in front, you saw that with Brereton. When there's a missed kick, you're always going to take advantage. He's just putting his body between his opponent and the ball, which is coming down the ground. It wasn't a good kick by Tuck, but he was in front, took the tumbling mark, and now it's finished up with Dunstall. Not pretty football, but very, very effective football.
On the 50-metre line, he'll kick it from. Just outside, Dunstall leans back, kicks it straight through. 6 goals for Dunstall. 6 for Dunstall. And Hawthorn to 20.
That's his 4th goal, and this is the last quarter. His 3rd best effort for the year, Jason Dunstall. He's kicked 9 on 2 occasions. He's kicked 5 on a number, but he's never kicked 6. And there he is, tumbling down. Right through went his 6th goal.
2019 plays 13-7. Irving wins it down, taken by Turley. Michael Tuck's in there, standing over Turley. Quite a contrast in experience. Michael Tuck, 426 games. That's a lot of liniment. Bounce alongside the centre circle. Irving to Pike. Hurried kick towards half forward. Ayres superbly done once more. Oh, brilliant stuff. Ayres goes off the ground, but only as far as Matera. Feigns a hand pass. Gets by the tiring Ayres. Runs to 40. Goes goalward. Looks good. No, he's missed. Not by much. Wrong side of the post. And the Eagles, the wrong side of the result.
His 3rd point, Peter Matera.
James Morrissey wide. Pritchard the target. Matera comes in. Pritchard around him with a bounce. Up to centre wing. Brereton. What a great comeback it's been from that knee injury, which kept him out of the game against Geelong. Deer. Kemp. Lamb. Brennan to Hart. Short to McIntosh. Waterman crisscrossing here to Matera. Waters very short. Heady the target. Jenky will sit and wait and go now, and does. Ayres with him. Waters. Heady to ground. Turley. Some tired legs there. Remembering West Coast playing in their 4th final here in 27 days.
It's an interesting matchup now, Turley and Tuck, because that's exactly how they started the game. Turley has gone in other positions to try and plug holes. And now they've finished up with one another again.
Lamb gets a fist on it, sends it straight back out of bounds. Well, the West Coast Eagles, the season's top qualifiers, will finish the season 21-5. That's not good enough. Alan Joyce is coming down from his coaching box now. This game is in the bank. And yet another premiership goes to Glenferrie as Condon kicks it around the outer side. Leading back in the race is Lockyer. Coming to meet him is Platten. Intended for Hudson. Mainwaring battling with Hudson. It spills out of bounds.
Platten try a deflection on that occasion, Dennis?
No, he's too tired for that, I think, Don. Deft coaching performance by Alan Joyce. 2 out of 2. He's only lost 9 games as the senior coach at Hawthorn. Yes, terrific. Still he goes. And Waters towards the boundary line.
Matera to Mainwaring. Last right's being played here inside the final minute. Mew sets himself Worsfold. Morrissey, one of the very best for Hawthorn today. Gets rid of Lewis, kicks it to Collins, who had to warm the bench for so long. Must have been chafing at the bit to get out there. And when he did, he took a big mark and set up a big goal. That one missed by Anderson. Worsfold. Can West Coast kick the last goal in the last 10 seconds? It's doubtful because Morrissey's onto it. 5 seconds remaining. And look at this, a panic for Gowers if it sits. Taps it over to Allen as the siren goes now and the Hawks win.
Great to see Dermot Brereton talking with Ashley McIntosh, no doubt realising what a fine young player he's going to be. But the spoils with the Hawks. Down last season, disappointing season. This man installed as coach his second time around, previously as a caretaker, and they've won a resounding victory, one of their finest. Let's go down to Peter McKenna now.
Gary, it must be fantastic. You've been through it many times before. Just as good.
Oh, it's been better, mate. It's even better. They made themselves halfway through the year, and we certainly showed them today, mate. It's not bad for a bunch of old hacks.
The young players too, weren't they fantastic?
Yeah, Stevie Lawrence, Ben Allen, Anthony Condon, Andy Gowers, all the guys showed a lot of courage today.
Gary, Paul Deer's performance.
Oh, superb, mate. Absolutely fantastic.
Congratulations again. A great game yourself. Tremendous.
Well, they call him Conan the Barbarian. He's been in 5 premierships now, Gary Ayres. Hawthorn winning 13 out of their last 14. Look at Joyce and Ayres together. After 12 rounds, they were 6 and 7th place. And they've won 13 of the last 14 to take the premiership off this team, who at some stages through this season must have felt that they were the top team in the competition. Number 1 for 24 weeks. But the Hawks have been able to take it from them. And Don, they had so many good players.
Well, they did, Hawthorn, but just let's bear a thought for those West Coast. There's not a worse feeling in football than to run second. You might as well not have played the whole season. It's a shocking feeling. I've got a lot of sympathy for them. I've been there myself, and it's just the worst experience I have ever experienced in football. Let's hope that that hardens them up and they come back stronger next year.
Well, they will, I'm sure.
Well, if they're doing it by degrees, they were 3rd last year, 2nd this season. Hopefully that trend continues.
Well, it took Hawthorn 34 years to get into a grand final as a club. West Coast have been there in a much quicker time. And you talked about the Joyce record. It is remarkable. He's won 2 night premierships and 2 day premierships in 2 seasons of coaching at Hawthorn. And those figures that you mentioned about Kennedy and Jeans, 2 legends before him, who won premierships. I think 3 and 14 and 3 and 9 you might have mentioned. And now 2 and 2 for Joyce. Well, it was a victory that halfway through the season you wouldn't have expected. Chris Langford, who had the job on Peter Sumich, is with Peter McKenna.
Chris, just as good as ever.
I think this probably takes the take, Peter. I think we've had a fairly low approach this year, and fantastic way to finish it off. We've been very successful, obviously the Eagles, and for us it was great. Yeah.
And a terrific battle again between you and Peter Sumich.
Yeah, I was disappointed with the start that I let him get off to, but they made it a hell of a fight for the rest of the day, and he's a good player, and Full marks to him to kick 5 goals in a losing side.
The experienced players on the back line. Gary Ayres, they must be terrific to play with.
Oh, that's fantastic. I think the effort some of our blokes here all through the game, with, you know, the tackling, the pressure, and just throwing themselves in was just brilliant.
And the young players were great too.
Yeah, Stevie Lawrence and Benny Allen, Hutto, those guys. It's great for them, so young, to play so well.
Congratulations, Chris. Go and enjoy the celebration.
Good on you.
Let's go down with Bernie Quinlan, who has Alan Joyce.
Yeah, I have the victorious coach here, Alan Joyce. Alan, they were fantastic today, a magnificent performance.
Yeah, they were, Bernie. You know, very proud of them today. You know, we have to play like that to beat them, and they were magnificent. Thank you.
Totally committed. Well done, Alan.
I think Alan's pretty keen to get over and celebrate with the players. That was one of the quickest interviews. But they did it so superbly, really. 8 goals to 1 in the last quarter. There's Tucky. 7 premierships. Don, you've played with him on these occasions. I mean,
well, I didn't even think he's ever going to play league football. When he first came down, he was a shy, introverted fellow. And when you used to say hello to Tucky, he was like a turtle. He'd pull his head into his shoulders, turn his back. But
You probably frightened him.
Well, I think a lot of people frightened him. There was nothing of him. There was just nothing of him, just like he is today. But he's got there, and it's a fantastic effort. What a, you know, because he put it in years, not years, but he put in 2 years in the reserves before he got his go. So he wasn't a walk-up start.
well, I think he played 50 reserves games, and he's played 426. Michael Malthouse and John Worsfold. They say, Dennis Cometti, sometimes you have to lose a big one to learn how to win one, and West Coast have been there now.
Yeah, just interesting, that conversation between Worsfold and Malthouse. You get the feeling already the season has started next season.
They're planning for something else.
He's making a point there to Worsfold, and that's all you can do in this situation. I mean, they really carried the hopes of an entire state, but they were outplayed by one of the great teams. Let's go down to DERMOTT now with Bernie Quinn.
G'day, Dermy. Well done again. Another magnificent performance by the Hawks.
Yeah, very lucky again, aren't we? We're very fortunate being in this side.
I don't think luck comes into it. They worked very hard today and they were totally committed.
Yeah, I feel a bit sorry for Eagles. You know, they were the best team throughout the year for sure, but they weren't the best team in the final. So they'll learn from that, and they'll probably be the side to beat next year.
Grand final experience comes into it a lot, doesn't it, Dermot? And you've certainly had a lot of that over the years.
I think so. They're you know, if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't have kicked with the wind in the first quarter, because it takes a bit of nerves. You know, I mean, there's the nerves there, and it takes a bit of settling down and getting used to it. So they weren't going to kick many with it, whoever kicked with it in the first quarter. So work hard into the win first quarter and then take full advantage of it 2 quarters later on.
All right, thanks, mate. Enjoy the celebrations.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Well,